Hi, welcome to the Fab Feral 5 Dad's Kitchen. I'm Fab Feral 5 Dad. I was going through my recipe books looking for the various gumbo recipes that might be scattered throughout the different books, and it dawns on me, or it occurs to me, that there's probably as many recipes for gumbo as there are people making it. It's like my dad used to say, it's like opinions and that other thing. Everybody has one. Everybody has a recipe for gumbo, and they all think theirs is the authentic gumbo. But I think there's truly only two items that make gumbo, and the rest has some variations, and it's all delicious. So Emeril Lagasse, New Orleans cooking, has a version. It's a version that is different than the one I've made many times. If I were to look in The Joy of Cooking or other books that I have behind me, there would be even different versions yet. So two things that really make gumbo stand out as a Louisiana Cajun or Creole dish. The first is a dark roux, and I'll get to that when I start cooking. The second is the Holy Trinity, the aromatic blend that is the Holy Trinity. It is based on what is a French mirepoix, and a French mirepoix is onion and carrot and celery. Usually 2 parts onion, 1 part carrot, 1 part celery when you're making it. The thing that makes a Holy Trinity similar to the mirepoix is it's also an aromatic blend, but instead of the carrot, a green bell pepper or a red bell pepper or a yellow bell pepper or a combination of all of those is substituted for the carrot. So here's your Holy Trinity: onion, celery, green bell pepper. Again, same ratio, 2 parts onion, 1 part green pepper, 1 part celery. There's also a common aromatic blends that are Italian sofritos or Spanish sofritos, and those incorporate things like parsley and garlic. See that there. Maybe removing the bell pepper in the case of an Italian, bringing back in the carrot. And so there's, with the parsley and the garlic, there's an Italian sofrito, removing the celery and the carrot, and bringing in, and the parsley, and bringing in cilantro and some type of hot pepper like a jalapeno pepper and some tomatoes, and now you've got a Latin American or a Spanish sofrito. And so all of them are based on an aromatic blend, which in my mind comes from the classic French mirepoix. So that's key. Again, what we're going to do in this gumbo today that I'm going to make is start with the Holy Trinity, which is, again, onion, celery, and green bell pepper. So the second thing is the roux, and I'm going to go into the kitchen and we'll start the roux. It takes some time. I'm about an hour and a half, I think, to kick off right now, and so that should just give me about the right amount of time to get the roux made, darkened correctly, and start simmering the aromatics in that roux. Today I'm going to make a shrimp and sausage gumbo and have it over rice, because that's the way it goes. That's the way you're supposed to do it. I hope it's going to be good, and I hope you enjoy it. So come on back and we'll get in the kitchen. Okay, for my gumbo today, I'm going to make a small batch. It's just me eating it. I'll have some leftovers for the next few days, but I'm going to go with a full amount of roux. I think I'll save some of it for another time. It can save once it becomes darkened the way we want it. So I'm going to go in, starting to heat this on very low heat, this saucepan, with about a half cup of oil. I've just got a grapeseed oil that I had available to me. You can use any oil. Some people use butter. Some people use bacon grease. I had this, so I'll go with that. And a half cup of flour. Now I want to make sure, I'm doing this on the stovetop. You can also Make your roux in the oven. It takes longer to do. It's a little less likely to burn that way. But on the stovetop, it's a little faster. It's still going to take maybe 15-20 minutes. But I want this to be at a fairly low heat and not burn. So I'm going to continue to monitor this and stir it while it darkens. I'll bring the camera over so you can see the color of it before it starts. This is a blonde roux where it starts, and then it's going to gradually get darker. And I'm looking for something that is in the shade of a chocolate. Okay, so you can see the color of this beginning of this roux. It's, you know, very pale. It's called a blonde roux. I want this to become a lot darker, and so over time, as I continue to stir and the heat continues to brown the flour that's in with this oil, it'll become darker and more flavorful, to be honest. So we'll be back once this starts getting a little darker. Okay, this has been going for about 10 minutes now. It's about halfway there. I'll bring the camera over so you can see it. It's looks like about a peanut butter color. We definitely want to get it darker than this, but it's on the way. Again, you have to be very attentive to this so it doesn't burn, because once it burns, then you just kind of have to throw the whole batch out. The thing about a roux is the darker it gets, the more you cook it and brown the flour, the less thickening power it has. And so there's some other tricks that are used in gumbo to make the gumbo base thicker, and I will go through some of those. While this was starting to cook, I went ahead and diced my onion and my celery and my green pepper. I've got 2 cups of stock ready to go. Once we get to that point, I diced up or minced a couple of cloves of garlic, and I've got some other spices that I'm going to add in. Again, once this gets to the chocolate stage, the dark brown stage, I'm going to reserve about half of this and use it for another dish, and I'll use the other half, the remaining half, to make the gumbo. And here's where we are. Hopefully you can see that this is quite a bit darker. Make sure my camera's focused right there. Hopefully you can see that it's quite a bit darker than it was when I first started cooking it. Again, we need to get a couple shades darker than this, probably about another 10 minutes. I'll come back. Thought I'd give just one more status update here. I'm still working to get this to a dark roux. It should be a shade or two darker than it was the last time, but it's got one more shade to go before I'm ready to go. Also, I've started browning some sausage that will go into the gumbo. Normally, a gumbo would be andouille sausage, but they had some hatch green chili sausage at the store on reduced price, so I went ahead and got that. So that's what I'll be adding to the gumbo today. Get some light on the subject here so you can see how dark that is. I've reserved about half, maybe a little less than half. But now I'm going to start building the gumbo and let it simmer on the stovetop. Now that I have my dark roux prepared, I'm going to start building the gumbo. So what this remaining is about a 1/4 cup of flour to a 1/4 cup of some type of oil. I used grapeseed oil. So I'm going to start adding all my aromatics that I talked about earlier. So I've got about a 1/2 cup of onion into the pot, about a 1/4 cup of celery, or actually that was green pepper, and a 1/4 cup of celery. So that's the 1 or 2 to 1 to 1 ratio. Okay, so I'm going to put this back on the stove top. And let the roux and the aromatics cook together. To that, I'm going with a pinch of salt, some fresh ground black pepper, and I've minced a couple of cloves of garlic So I'll put those in to let that start cooking. So this is the aromatic portion of the gumbo. We'll let those vegetables soften a little bit and meld with the roux. Okay, if you can see this, let me get my spatula out of the way. You can see that the roux has started to cook down the vegetables. The Holy Trinity, as it were. So it's time to start adding the rest of the ingredients to let this complete. So I'm going to go in with, I've got 2 cups of chicken broth. We'll start there. We might need to add more, but that's a good place to start. I am going to go ahead and add in my sausage that I cooked earlier, that I browned. Let those all come together. And I mentioned earlier about a couple of tricks to thicken up this broth. One of the tricks is okra. Now, okra, when it cooks down, it releases a thickener. It's got a natural thickener in it. So I'm going to add about a half a bag of okra. And, you know, this is pretty standard for about a half a bag of that. This was a 12-ounce bag, so that's about 6 ounces of okra. That'll help thicken it. And the other thing I like to use is called Gumbo File. And what filet is a sassafras root, ground sassafras root. I like the flavor of this. It doesn't take a lot, maybe just about 1/4 teaspoon. For me, it's as much the flavor as anything. I'm also going to put in a little bit of thyme, about 1/2 teaspoon. Some cayenne pepper because I like it to be spicy, maybe 1/2 teaspoon of that. And I've got some Cajun seasoning. You can use Tony Chachery, you can use Slap Ya Mama. I'm going to use Danos today, and I think it's got a good mix of flavors. So we'll hit it with some of the Cajun seasoning there. Give that a stir, and let this come to a simmer. Now, once this completes, once this simmers down, and the okra breaks down a little bit, I'll get a good feel for how thick the broth is. And I may need to add a little bit more broth to it, chicken broth. But we'll let this simmer, probably about 10-15 minutes, to let the vegetables soften and the okra break down a little bit and get the thickening power of the okra working in here. And we'll come back and check it again. Once this gets to being within about 5 or 10 minutes of being done, I'll add in the shrimp and let the shrimp cook right at the end. I don't want it to be overcooked and rubbery, so I want to make sure that I add the shrimp at the end. Smells like Louisiana in here. So this has been simmering for about 15 minutes. It's plenty thick enough, and it's going to even get a little thicker as this simmers just for a little bit longer. I've got about 1/4 pound of peeled shrimp here that I'm going to put in right now and let those cook this last few minutes in the simmer. I'll give this and the shrimp about 5 or 10 more minutes. Probably only needs about 5 minutes, to be honest, at this stage, as long as the simmer continues. And I'll bring it over to the cutting board over here so you can take a look at it a little closer. I'm also going to get my rice ready to go and enjoy a bowl of gumbo, because this is going to be really good. Okay, the gumbo's been sauteing for about 10 minutes since I put the shrimp in. It's ready to go. Boy, this looks good. The house smells delicious. Take baby Nessie here and get a couple of nice heaping spoonfuls of this gumbo. And Add in some rice. And just to garnish, a little bit of parsley that I chopped up. Give it some color. This doesn't look delicious. I don't know what does. You can see that the thickness of the gumbo is just perfect. The rice is going to meld in with that, give it a nice platform to take some of the heat and spread it out a little bit. I'll see you at the table. I'm going to eat some gumbo. Well, so there you go. Louisiana gumbo. Now, the difference between a Cajun and a Creole gumbo, Cajun gumbo has no tomato in it, which I made a Cajun gumbo today. You notice there were no tomatoes that entered any part of this dish. A Creole gumbo is simply the roux and the aromatics and the sausage and shrimp or whatever other seafood you want to add to it. I'm going to try this because I can't wait. Bon appetit. See you next time. That is so good.